Yo, what is good? My anime people. It's almost New Year's, and y'all really thought I was about to skip out on y'all. Nah, but freaking Platinum's in, Shaman King, all that stuff didn't come out dubbed, and then now I gotta either. I think today the days have been so messed up for me. So today is a Friday. So that means Die could come out, which I don't even know. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I got something out for y'all. If there's something out that I like or there's something out that I've already messed with, I do my entire best to get at least a video out to y'all. It's not that there were other things I could have watched. It's just I have to start pretty much everything from the beginning because I didn't keep up with a lot of it. So I do apologize for that. Overall, though, this was a nice little comeback to episode for this anime where I thought it was just going to be done and no one was ever going to talk about it again because, to be fair, a lot of people weren't really keen on it and they didn't really care for me to be reviewing about it either. Like, it was just one of these animes that I was doing that overall people just were passing by this show in general. And it ended up being a pretty interesting season for it. Very hopeful that they're bringing a second season, which I can't remember what was announced because there's so much anime coming out very soon, slash other shows I'm looking forward to that it's all jumbled up in there. But this week's episode, or this week's special, which was like an hour long practically, was just another good showcase of Waver and what he was dealing with before we meet him in Fate Zero. Not only that, just like what his lifestyle more or less attended of and the people that were in it making his life feel the way that it was. And thanks to a certain teacher who continuously kept spitting on any type of words Waver had, he never waved. He never backed down from ever really talking that talk. Even at the end of the day, he never wound up walking the walk in his own words. So I think what he's become as of now is what he is truly stating he was trying to do, which is the fact that he wants to save himself by living the life that he's living in the present. The future of his life is what is going to save his present self. And I thought that was a very interesting way of saying, you know, yes, he had a lot of regrets, but the one thing he didn't regret is being able to live. And I think we all know why that is, which is another awesome callback to Fate Zero being the subject of a person that he was. That is the one thing he was told to do: live a long life. And the one person I still respect the most by uh, allowing that was Gigamesh. Gigamesh could have snuffed Waver out so long ago that this kind of is another thing that he himself has left, right? Um, Not only did a great king who fought for this one subject to make sure he wasn't a part of the final fight survives and lives on and can tell his memory, but he also carries Gilgamesh with him even if that is the person that took out his king. It is still a person that showed you that what your king stood for and everything he wanted for you in this new life or this future that you hold is that, it was a good thing. And here we are learning about all the crappy stuff he did to people in the past. um, it was really cool to see him young, but at the same time, I think this was just one of those things if people were complaining about or something like that, or that they had a lot of unused assets of the young character model and they just wanted to get rid of, showcase that not only could they have had him young and did a story back in the past and fill in a whole bunch of blanks leading up to where we are in his present life. But they kind of do that already in that anime I'm telling you all about. So if this is the first time you're hearing me talk about this show, do check out the anime itself. or you can watch a review of mine. I don't know how well I summarize it though. Like I'm probably just freaking out and gushing over the fact that Waver is back because I really did like what happens to him and the king in Fate Zero. Like it felt like the only really hopeful thing that came out of the whole entire show was this guy who was a king letting one of his subjects live a much more fulfilled life than just being a fodder on the battlefield. And that one moment when all those people had already died before, Waver is in the present day, and it would have been pretty messed up to go in there knowing he's gonna die and take this young boy's life who's already swore loyalty to him through the little time they spent together. Overall, this is him fighting against the past and having to relive things he wasn't really keen to, things that were happening around him, but he was so focused on being all about that talk, which makes sense. Like, he's up until midnight studying every single thing he could, but at the end of the day, he was still called Waver the Failure. So no matter how hard he studied, no matter how much he pushed to be able to prove these people wrong, it's almost as if, like the teacher said, you won't amount to anything, you won't do anything. And guess what happened to make that possible? Death. Death had to happen to said teacher, and the reason why that death happened was more or less because he had taken something that allowed him to meet Ryder, and the teacher had to do it a different way, making it a whole different summon that he was going to get. So he blames himself for this, even though most people who enter these things need those special mediums to even step forth into the battle. So this was another showcase of, how selfish and how regretful he is throughout his whole entire life, and to be able to maybe help one person out of his whole entire past when he really didn't help anyone but himself or tried to help himself, that must have actually felt pretty good. And yeah, this was a interesting special, but like I said, it's more or less feels like, hey, this show exists and we might be making a second season. Is there any interest? Is pretty much what I got out of this. So hopefully, yeah, I hope y'all are interested in it. It was pretty nice. At the same time, I feel like if you haven't watched anything, please go watch the seasons first, right? Like, go understand some of the world that's going on in there before you just hop in to what essentially is this, because at the end of the day, I highly doubt y'all are gonna understand uh like Gray and why she's so powerful, because they just don't explain anything, or they don't really explain why the whole entire thing kind of ends after he necessarily solves the case, which he is one of the best detectives of magic discrepancies. Like anything that is magic related, he is the dude that they kind of come to figure out where things are happening, and even to take care of it at the end of the day, like to annihilate whatever may be hurting people. So overall, it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna tell you it was the greatest thing ever, because it was very self-contained and it was made definitely for people like me who watched the show and enjoyed it, and just wanted more. So if you did enjoy it, you will like that. I'm really curious to see if people are checking this out without any prior knowledge. So we'll see how that plays out. But overall, take care, everybody. Have an awesome new year, and I will definitely be back with you at any time I get some anime to actually talk about that I watch and have been keeping up with. So thank you so much for sticking in there with me, and I will definitely get you that content soon. So take care, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe if you've gotten this far. I appreciate that. I just want more of the community to be here to communicate with each other, myself, and anime in general. So, that being said, take care. Yeah.